Hello folks, my name is Patrick and welcome to Patrick Scale Studio. I'll be your host. So over a year ago I started a project, not a big project, just a small project to run concurrently with USS Curtis Wilbur. January 1st, 2024 actually is when I released the video concerning this project, and it happened to be a side-by-side build of Revell's Hawker Hurricane Mark IIB and to me is Supermarine Spitfire Mark 9C. Needless to say, I haven't put anything out there since that video regarding this project, but I'm not a one-dimension modeler with just only working on ships, and I kind of wanted to also put some of the other stuff out there that I do, but with that being said, after kind of thinking on that project, it didn't make sense to me to continue doing it because this kit's been out since 2009 or 10, and this kit's been out since 2023. So there's already been plenty of reviews and plenty of giant build logs, very inclusive, comprehensive build logs for both of them. So why duplicate to that extent everyone else's efforts? So I also don't like loose ends though, so I want to go ahead and get them wrapped up. So maybe over a couple more videos in this short little series, we'll get them put together in various stages and discuss where the shortcomings are and how they measure up to one another for this currently in 2025 being a $60 to $70 kit, and this in 2025 being about a $150 kit. So with that said, we'll go ahead and move on with what I've accomplished. All right, we'll start with the Revell Hawker Hurricane. Again, the $50 to $60 range. I correcting myself now. Earlier I said 60 to 70. It's $50 to $60 range here for this kit. 132nd. And we got all the way through putting this cockpit together. Did not manage to get any decals on here because they all tore apart while I was trying to get them to settle down. I did not find that to be particularly an enjoyable experience. Cockpit going together, I don't think I had a lot of fun with either. It's well engineered for detail and how the thing looks in real life. It's not well engineered for a pleasant modeling experience. Got all this done. I got everything put together, and I got this snapped up tight. So this is the current state, and I'll throw some pictures of what the cockpit looks like here at the end of this little segment. Well, I tried to detail it up as best as I could. It's kind of like a tiny little cave in there, though. One thing I found fun to add, though, was a little bit of Tamiya's transparent green around the gun sight right there to kind of give it that look and feel of glass. One thing they don't mention in the instructions that would be helpful for anyone not realizing this is when you put the canopy on here, whether or not you're using the closed one or the open one, the closed one's going to cover up some of the fuselage right behind that headrest and that armor. So it's best to go ahead and get a little bit of the fuselage color down before putting this down. And for the fuselage color, the dark green, RAF dark green, I started with XF61 dark green, but it looked a little too brownish for me, so I added a little bit of, no, that's not right. I added a little bit of XF70, it's a dark green too, from Tamiya. And I mixed up in just this bottle because I'm going to need a good amount of paint to cover this. So this would be my RAF dark green for this project. Besides that, moving on, also got the landing gear put together. You can see here it's painted in flat aluminum with these two little struts right here in the interior green color, and I chromed out the little hydraulic pistons. On the other side, that is chrome aluminum because you can see this through the cockpit afterwards. Now, a caveat to that is I doubt you're really going to see much. Again, that is like a little cave in there. It's really dark even with bright light shining down. But, you know, in the off chance someone took a spotlight and held it over top of it, they, in theory, would be able to see some of this right here. And additionally, I'd like to point out, I think this was kind of silly. I mean, I guess for the super rivet counting detail enthusiasts, it would be good and make sense for them. For me, it didn't matter. This part right here is molded in clear because this tiny little area right here and that tiny little area right there are supposed to be clear. And it was just to allow the pilot to know whether or not the landing gear had retracted and extended, you know, after takeoff and before landing, just to make sure that they were flying safe and landing safe. At any rate, again, looking down through there, it's laughable to think that anyone would really go looking for that and then say, "Oh, Patrick, you covered those up with paint. What were you thinking?" I didn't bother. Masking them off wasn't great. These aren't really good sharp edges here where you can easily apply masking fluid and be done with it. So I was like, you know, to heck with it. I've got a little bit of flat aluminum right here on the lower wing parts here where they connect up with this landing gear. Now, another thing here with the engineering that, again, didn't lead to fun times for me was I like to test fit before I glue. And as you can see right there, there's already a good gap. And that is after some trimming and some sanding. So you really have to push this together. Well, in the course of taking this apart, you can see there's these fun little these fun little tabs right here with holes, and these correspond to pin locations. And there. And as you'd see, 3 of them broke off just from me trying to line this up to figure out what the deal is and why that gap wasn't closing up after trimming and sanding. And it's still not great. But if I hold it together just right, it'll close up. Same issue with over here. But luckily, it spared 2 of the little pins right there. That one broke off and that one broke off. So again, I understand what they had in mind, but in my opinion, not the most phenomenal design for the modeler. The wings also need a decent amount of trimming. I got all the sprue core stubs and everything like that trimmed off of there, but there's still a step right here where the flaps retract to. I probably wouldn't have lowered flaps anyway, but that's not great. So still more sanding to go and some clamping and everything that's going to take to get that down. And then once that's down, I can go ahead and interior green that and pop in one of these lights that I used a Molotov pen for to give it that really nice chrome feel. So that's where I'm at with this, and started kind of working on some other things that need to get put together here in the course of the build, where I don't want to sit there and wait for the parts to dry and be stuck not being able to move on. So little things like that. Alright, so next up we'll talk about the cockpit for this for about 30 seconds, then we'll move on to the Tamiya Spitfire. Alright, just included 5 pictures here of the cockpit of the Hurricane here. One-dimensional seatbelt from the Tamiya Spitfire kit. It was a nice free edition, and I had to have something in there because the kit doesn't provide for seat belts. But as you can see, the detail's pretty sparse. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference, though. It's really difficult to see down in there, capture any kind of images or anything like that, even to provide to everybody else. But is what it is. Alright, next up is this little gem. To me is Spitfire. Now, it is a lot of fun to put together, and it would be even more fun if I were a person that repaired Swiss watches. A lot of it is tiny, some of it's fiddly. It is well engineered and it fits together very well. But there are certain steps on it, and so we got all the way up through this. Yeah, through this and the instructions. And there are some steps on it that have really been that were kind of a bear. Getting this, for instance, right here, everything lined up. Keeping this little photo etch lever right here from bending from side to side while I'm putting everything else together. It was a lot of trial and effort, but in the end, got it all put together. It's all smashed in there, and everything fit together. You can see there's no gaps or anything like that after putting it in there, and that is a lot of plastic and parts to be sandwiched between two fuselage halves while still allowing this control stick to move. And I'll post pictures of all of this when I'm finished with this little segment. I also got the bottom wing painted because, again, the theory here is you'll be able to see it if you were to look down in there. You'd be able to see the bottom of this. To that extent, I'm not 100% sure, but there it is at any rate. And maybe you'll see a little bit of that in the pictures. But again, this went together really, really nicely. I didn't really encounter any significant challenges or anything like that about getting that put up. I still haven't put the gun sight in there yet, just because it's a little fragile, and I don't want to put it in there, and I don't have to put it in there just yet. Whereas with this one, it went with the instrument panel, so we kind of stuck with doing so. But with the Spitfire, I'm going to leave it off until I'm ready to put the windscreen in place, or the windshield in place. And then kind of the next steps on here, I didn't get very much further with getting some of these assemblies put together because it's hinges and stuff like that, and getting all those glued and put together and then put up into the wings and everything like that. So as we get a little bit further along in this, I'll go ahead and come back and tell you what all I've done on it. So also I used aftermarket seat belts on here. I'll have to get back with what I used on that as well. But the nice thing about using the aftermarket seat belts on that was it allowed me to take the stainless steel seat belts from the photo etch and the kit and bring it over to here and put together something that kind of looked the part. While that's probably not 100% ideal or accurate, it looks the part, so that's enough for me. Just going to begin by saying that not all of the images here are going to be the best. I just taken with my phone camera, but they're those lovely seat belts, the typical Tamiya instrument panel for 132nd airplanes. Details a little bit more crisp and a little bit more of it, but there's a lot more viewing angles to be had here with this cockpit. It's a little bit more open. Overall, and again, some fiddly bits, but went together pretty nicely. So if we were to compare them side by side here, as I was kind of wanting to do, and I understand not everyone's got $150 to go out and grab to me a Spitfire. That said, overall so far, I'm getting the most bang for my buck out of Revell Spitfire. That's a $60 $50, $60 kit. It's going to be large. It's going to be impressive. The detail is decent. The panel lines maybe a little bit heavier than Tamiya's, but they're not overly deep or giant or awful. There is a good amount of detail in the cockpit. A lot of it's very hard to see anyway, but that's just the nature of the beast. I don't like open cowlings to display the engine, so this is absolutely fine. There's no engine there, and that's probably a little bit of the idea behind the cost savings. But yeah, overall, so far, and this has fit like a dream. This has been absolutely top notch. This has been without failure on the fit. Everything has gone together the way it's advertised. No trouble at all there whatsoever. The Tamiya kit, while offering a better potential for detail and a lot more tiny little parts, along with their typical instrument panel with the clear and the decals behind and all that other good stuff. It was a lot of fun to put together, but again, if I'm modeling on a budget, this right here so far, I've had it just as much fun, if not more, than this, putting it together, because it's been, besides the cage parts being a little difficult to get to hold together properly, using the Tamiya extra thin quick setting kind of helped out with that. At times I even used a little bit of super glue to tack it and then use some Tamiya extra thin in behind that to kind of weld things together. But that's fiddly, but other than that, everything on this has been fun to work on and fun to do. This has been fun to do too. Don't let me take that away from it. It's a great kit, but it's just a little bit more painstakingly nuanced with picking things out and everything like that. And it's had its fiddly moments too. The instructions for Revell so far have been better than the Tamiya instructions, in my opinion. There might be other people that think I'm smoking something illegal, but that's not the case. This is nice. It's color. All these color callouts. The only thing I wish Revell would do differently, the very front of this, is give you, some kind of a cross comparison chart to other paint brands besides their own. I understand they want to promote their own brand, but frankly, I haven't heard good things about airbrushing their paints. I like airbrushing paints. I have not heard good things about Revell paints. So I'm going to stick with what I've heard and stay away from those and go the tried and true route with the Tamiya paints that usually spray very well when thinned out properly. But their instructions are really nice. And it's not much different from Tamiya as far as their arrows. I mean, their arrows, for the most part, kind of showing where things go. You're not getting a whole lot of images of things as they should appear right after you connect those bits like you would get on some of the more advanced instructions. But you get those in subsequent steps. Again, similar to how Tamiya does it. They're both in a pretty heavy-duty book format, but these pages are a little bit nicer. Just feels better. So currently right now I would say the winner of my little comparison is going to be the Revell kit. Like it's more bang for the buck in general and all around. Next steps here is I want to get most of the major assemblies done. So I think the next time we have another one of these videos, we can have the wings on, the horizontal stabilizers, the rudder, ailerons, probably the landing gear constructed and ready to go on. Pretty much where we'll be at right before priming and painting everything individually. So you can see that leaves a bit to go for both kits. But they've been a blast. I mean, look at this with the Tamiya kit. Again, $150 kit. I don't typically like to display cowlings open yet. All this goes in there, all this goes in there, and a good chunk of it, to my knowledge, is needed for the cowlings to stay on there. So kind of kind of beholden to that process. But after that, start to get canopies, get everything masked up, and hopefully, when it's all said and done, we'll have 2 wonderful World War II RAF fighters. So I really thank you for your time. Thank you for watching this, and until next time, stay safe, happy modeling.